No, I didn't find that out.
Because I emailed him as I was sitting here.
So he knew in advance.
No, I emailed him after the elections were announced.
What was the tally? Do you have it?
Did you
And who actually counts?
vote now? Third party said that you guys were going on.
Thank you.
He's a. So, good chance, you know, people, but trying to get a hold of people here as next as possible, because during the season, most of them are renting their places out in condos, so they're never here, so it doesn't do any good to talk to the residents. Yeah, they're not gonna vote for it. Okay, that's what I need. Thank you.
Did he leave? No, he's here. He's talking much. All right, let's keep going here. I got some games to watch.
I have a fair to go to.
If everyone would please take their seats or move their conversations outside of the room, we are going to bring the Board of Directors meeting to order. Okay, so we'll get started. And to establish a quorum, I see we have everybody here in attendance. We have all 9 directors, 2 being online, Mr. Irish and Dr. Coyle there. So we're going to move directly into election of officers. So for those that maybe not been through this process or witnessed it, what I will do is open the floor for nominations for the office of president. I'll see, who wants to, maybe nominate whom and who'd be willing to serve. And if we have more than one candidate, we will have a secret ballot. Cezanne and I will pass out these little, sheets where you'll write the name you vote for. You'll then give it to us, and then, we'll count and announce the winner. Once we do that, then we'll move on to the office of vice presidents and, then treasurer, then secretary. I believe those are the only officers you have this for. And once that is done, I will then hand the microphone to the new president, who will then chair the meeting. So with that, do we have any nominations for the office of president? Yes, sir.
I nominate Steve Mara, president.
Okay, Mr. Mara, if elected, will you serve?
Yes.
Okay, do I have any other nominations for the office of president? Well, Mr. Mayor, looks like you're stuck with it. My condolences. Congratulations, sir. Congratulations. Okay. Okay, with that, I'll open up the floor for nominations for the office of vice president.
I would like to nominate Mr. Morelli as vice president.
Okay, Ms. Fort Morelli, if elected, will you serve? Positive?
Yes.
Do we have any other nominations for the office of vice president? No? Okay, congratulations. Okay. Applause, everyone. Thank you. There we go. Do we have any nominations for the office of treasurer?
Yes, I nominate John Mulligan.
No, John says he doesn't want to do that.
Yes.
Okay, John, if elected, will you serve?
Yes.
Okay, excellent. Do we have any other nominations for the office of treasurer? Okay, John, congratulations, sir. They must think you're doing a good job. Well done. And lastly, for the office of secretary, do you have any nominations? Yes. Rick, okay, Rick. If elected, will you serve? Okay. Any other nominations for the office of secretary? And with there being none, Rick, congratulations. You are now the secretary. And with that, that concludes my day. And Mr. Mara, you are now in charge, sir. Here you go.
Thank you, thank you. I guess the next order of business is compliance committee hearings. Is that Jim?
Yeah, we're going to adjourn for the compliance committee in the bar area
If there are any homeowners who were contesting the fines, please join us in our.
Okay, thank you.
And
You're going in there?
Yeah.
Ms. Holmes?
Yeah.
Those are no, those are all committee members, aren't they? They're all committee members. Thank you, Jason.
You're not driving crowd.
No, no. Okay, members speaking, do we have any members who'd like to come up and address the board from the audience? Secretary's report approval of the February 27, 2025 minutes. Well, you should probably do that. Lisa.
2025 minutes.
Rick, you can second.
Seconded by Rick. All in favor? Oh, discussion? Anyone want to discuss it? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Aye.
Carried unanimously. Okay. Managers report. Mark.
I have no report.
Mark has no report. We may get out of here before midnight. Old business, real estate brochure boxes. We've talked about this last meeting, and who's gonna pick that up? Is that Lindy or Rick? Lydia?
I'll pick it up first. The, on behalf of the, ASC, they unanimously voted not in favor. That's the way we include that in the, not in favor, the brochure box. Oh, allow them, allow. Primarily, they're not effective as more than redundant. Anybody with a smartphone can you type in an address and get all the information. On the phone. What I've seen is people, neighbors are the ones that are picking them up because they want to see how much.
Yeah, the nosy neighbors is really who you have.
The committee pretty much was in them.
I also don't see them as an eyesore or a problem. When I walk with my dog, I see them out in the yard. It's not like a big issue. I don't see it as a big issue if we leave them, but if you guys think it's a problem, let's go with it. You want to?
I know, Linda, you said, Lucy asked about the data, and you said, well, the data, Greg Manchester is the leading seller here. And maybe he is, but I'm not sure you can relate that to the brochure box.
No,
The house next to me just went on sale, you're listing, and there was no brochure box out there and it sold in 2017.
It's also been shown for 3 weeks before.
What's your feeling? What's your feeling about them, Lydia?
Well, my feeling is that it's a very bad mistake to make.
You want to keep them? You want to keep them?
I'd like to make a motion and then discuss it.
Okay, go ahead, make a motion.
I make a motion to reinstate the use of realtor flyer boxes in Sterling Oaks. Marketing Sterling Oaks properties for sale or for lease. That's what they're for.
I second it. Discussion.
Well, I'll cut. First of all, I picked this up this morning. This has been a realtor's box who doesn't live in Sterling Oaks. So obviously they don't have to follow the rules because there's no way of them knowing that we passed it. So they can have signs, and they do have. We pulled all our flyer boxes because we know the rules. But we will continue to have flyer boxes because the outside realtors have no idea. And the realtor box, the flyer box is just a little bit bigger than this. It has a little top on it that flips over.
Like a little mailbox.
Like a little mailbox. And then there's the wire that puts it in the ground and puts it down. One thing. We also market the community when we put our flyers in. Because we talk about the amenities. We have pictures of the amenities. We have pictures of the events going on. We have pictures of the tennis courts. We have write-up about the community and our location and how close we are to the beach and all that. So we just spend a whole lot of money every month to market Sterling Oaks, and you've got this realtor doing it for free. You know, it's a very important marketing tool. Every real estate company trains us how to use flyers effectively. We're taught how to design them. We pay concierge listings a fee every month for helping us design our flyers. It markets the properties, it tells the features of the club, the amenities, all that. Also, people come in here from all states and unions, Canada, all across the world, they come on vacation here. Florida. They go into Sterling also for an open house on the session. Not all of them are open. We may have 20 places for sale here, and there may be 6 open houses that day. They go look at a house, they look at a couple, they don't like any they see. On the way out, they see a firebox, they pick up one, they look at the house, say, gee, this looks pretty good. Call the realtor, make an appointment, and go see it. We have sold many properties from these fireboxes. And it's tough selling right now. There's a lot of places on the market, and every time you don't sell a place and it stays on the market longer, your property goes down, not just the one for sale, but all of them go down in price. So the ADT signs are that big in people's yards, and ours is this big. Why would you not let a firebox and help sell your residents' properties?
Okay, Lindy is for it. Lindy is for it. Lucy?
One is, we have an ASC committee for a reason, and that committee unanimously recommends that those boxes are not present on our property. I don't support them. I don't think that they,
Who's that? You don't support them? What do you mean?
I don't support having those boxes
Oh, okay.
on the properties. I
Okay.
support what the ASC has come up with and what we decided as a board last time at the last meeting. Anything that's on those flyers, whether it's promoting our community, whether it's promoting the house, whether it's whatever they're sticking in there, I don't know, can be. We've gone paperless here as an administration. Why do we have to have flyers on our properties? I don't like them. If they show well, we don't even, I've never seen them. It's here.
Oh, it's during the snowbanks.
Yeah, that's right. I would just like to add one thing.
All right, Lindy, and then any other comments? Quick.
I'll just add this. Ever since I've been on this board, we've been asked to vote millions of dollars based on experts' opinions. We need a new irrigation system. The experts tell us we do. We need a new roof. The experts tell us we do. The ASC goes out and makes a ruling about something that they are not experts in, but you do have experts. You have realtors. It doesn't have to be people who live in here. It can be any realtor. You can call and ask them. Our flyer is important as a marketing tool to help sell properties? And the answer was that absolutely. And it's very disheartening to think that you take the word of people who don't like the looks of something perhaps over the value to the community. So I find it very disheartening.
Okay, any other comments from any other board members? Gentlemen on the screen, anyone?
No.
Okay, so we're gonna go to a vote. If you are in favor of reinstituting the boxes in the lawns, please signify by saying yes.
Does that mean to allow them?
To allow them.
Yes.
Yes.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Against? 2. It passes 6-2 that we allow the boxes. And John didn't vote. You all set? Oh.
Positive, he said yes.
No, this John.
Oh.
This John.
You abstain?
Yeah. New business, and if we could, I would like to add an item called Wildcat Pond shoreline. I know we can't vote on it, but I would like to discuss it today and get some facts out there. The committee board liaison appointments, that's the next agenda item. Now, do I do these individually or can I do a whole slate?
Probably individually.
So I need to make a motion.
It's not necessarily a motion. I mean, we could do it just like you did the election of officers. Somebody would like to run for the activities.
I would like to recommend Rick Sanders for architectural standards. Rick, are you willing to do that? We need to vote.
Does anybody else?
Anybody else interested?
Nobody else wants it?
No,
Come on.
that's.
Congratulations, Rick. Communications, Ken Swallen. Ken, are you willing to do that? Yep. Anybody else interested? Compliance would be myself and anyone want compliance? And I'm willing to do that. Finance, John Mulligan. Are you willing to do finance, Mr. Mulligan?
Yeah.
Anyone else interested in doing finance? I can't imagine. Landscape, Lindia. Are you interested in continuing with landscape, Lindia? You did a great job too, by the way. Not that everybody else didn't, but I think you did a great job. Anyone else interested in landscape? Okay, Lindia is going to be our liaison for landscape. Pickleball, I recommend John Coyle. John, are you willing to do that?
Yes, I am.
Okay, anyone else interested in pickleball? Okay, activities, I'm gonna ask John Irish. John, are you willing to serve in activities?
Yes, I am.
Okay, anyone else interested in activities? Okay, tennis, I'm gonna recommend Ed Kokila. Ed, would you be willing to serve as tennis liaison?
Yeah.
Anyone else interested in tennis? And the fitness project team would be Lucy Morelli. Lucy, are you willing to continue with that? Anyone else interested in fitness? Good. I think we're done. Did we miss anything? Okay, check signers. 9B, agenda item 9B, check signers. Mark, you have? John?
Hold on, I can find it. John would like to make a motion to,
Any more than 4? Do we have those 4?
well, I can. Steve, you're full-time, right?
Yes.
Rick's full-time, right?
Yeah.
I think we're good.
Okay, I'd like to make a motion to approve the following individuals, check signers, along with Mark West and C. Don Hayes, authority to be representative to the bank. Steve Mara, Lucy Forte Morelli, John Mulligan, and Rick Sanders.
Do all of us have to sign, or is it a certain amount of us?
I will bring you into the loop. It's an electronic process that we use. I will need your physical signature. But it's all electronic and unless I need something physically, then that's why I at least want 2 full-time.
Something immediate emergency, have to sign something.
Did you just make a motion?
Yes.
I seconded the motion. Any discussion? All in favor? Signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Okay. Irrigation project excess funds. I like the sound of that. Is that you, John?
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, I would like to make a motion that any excess funds would either be put back into the reserve fund based on how much we took out of reserve to bring down the loan, and the remainder gets put into the operating fund.
Which one are you talking about?
Probably a total of $50,000, and 30 of it or so will be attributed to savings using the reserves to bring down the loan, because that was at 6.8, and we're only getting 4 now in the reserve, so we're saving almost 2.5%. That's what you're on.
Why is there excess? Was it came in under budget?
No, because, well, we came right on budget with the amount, but we said we're gonna have the 7% loan rate. That was the amount at the time. I think we actually got 6.8. Meaning ourselves, we're taking 300,000 out of reserves. We're not paying the bank 6.8. We'll pay ourselves back the 4%. So that's our savings is pretty much there.
Okay.
And a little less, I think when we did the calculation, we did it at 7%. And when we negotiate the final one, a couple months later, it was 6.8, we weren't gonna go back and redo everybody's numbers for $1 or 2 or 3.
Okay, so can you make a motion to,
It's done.
all set?
Yep. I
Okay.
need a second.
Oh, I think we're all done.
Oh, no.
I'll second it. Any more discussion on John's request?
Got a question, why aren't we putting it back into capital rather than back into the general operating.
When you say capital, what do you mean by capital? We have a capital expense. We have a long-term capital, and neither of those things were used for this project.
We're not putting it, but his motion
But
wasn't to
if
put it
we
back.
have to replace the irrigation system in the future, or
That's why-
a major,
Well, we have reserve set up for that. That will be, we started this past year, reserve that's set up for the irrigation system.
You return it to where we borrowed it from.
Well, yes, I mean, we're gonna, that 300,000 plus the interest that we're not making there.
Right.
This is just so it doesn't all go into reserves, we could put it on reserve, it's pretty minimal. But we also, you know, the operating account, which has a capital component to, could also use it. I mean, it's gonna be minimal either way, I mean, talking 50,000, you might be talking 30,000 to 120 the other. Just, I think just to help us, help the bottom line in this year coming up.
Any other, discussion or questions for John? All in favor, signify by raising your right hand and saying aye. Any
Aye.
opposed? Carried. Basketball court. That's, who's this? Luce, go ahead. Lucy, I'm sorry,
Not Lucille?
not Lucille.
At one of my chat sessions, somebody brought up the issue that when they brought their family to go play basketball, there were cars there and there were no lines. So, we're going to have basketball court, it should be cordoned off so that it can be available at all times. That is my thought. Because when it was over there, you go play whenever you wanted, then we moved it over there, back to where it was, I guess, at some point.
You making a motion?
I'm opening for discussion.
Okay.
Anybody want to say anything before we get to a motion? And go ahead,
Well,
Tom.
we can't, I agree, I mean, I brought this up last time, we spent the money for it, we put it over there. I know we're gonna take 4 spots away or whatever it is, but I think it's. We shouldn't have the basketball hoop if we're not gonna utilize it all the time or have it available.
What are your thoughts, Mark?
Well, I agree. I agree with everything. It was at the pickleball court area for those people to use it all the time. We kind of had it meshed around and made it there. And then when it got moved, we didn't really have a spot to put it. We looked at trying to do it on the backside of court 12.
That's what I was gonna say, the little dirt road, can't we put a
But-
little piece of blacktop over there, no?
We do have a piece of blacktop, but you can't get that. There's not enough space to do even a foul shot without your back being up against court 12. I also don't know, the question was, when we're on court 12 playing, there's a lot of people that are upset about the noise, even from 41, a little bit that we get. We don't know whether or not the basketball company is going to make any difference there. We'd have to do some expansion to that whole area to get a basketball court. Can't put it in the middle of the road. I could put it up against the berm, but you wouldn't be able to have enough room to shoot. So we put it back where it came from. Talking to Zach, talking to everybody, my personal opinion that if you really wanted it as a part of a play, we do something with the tot lot and make that part of the tot lot a basketball hoop area. It's fenced in. We could put in,
Take away half the playground?
I don't know if it'd be half of it, but it might be an area in there that, and I can tell you that the playground is used less than the basketball hoop is. But at least it would get it out of the way, and we'd still, parking is at a premium, as you
Yeah.
know, so.
Why don't we look at, in another couple of weeks, it won't be an issue, why don't we table it till next meeting and think about some different solutions, look into different solutions, maybe some costs. I agree that, I drive my bike right there, I'm thinking, every time I go by, I want to see nobody shooting hoops that way, would be, every time I go by, someone was shooting. I thought they are using the thing, and use it a lot, they really do. I didn't think they would, but they do.
It gets used, I mean, my
They do.
grandson uses it, my
Yeah.
grandkids use the
So,
tot lot too.
in the interim, I'll go ahead and we'll paint the line.
At least paint the lines and then let's
And then
look
we'll
for
do
a different
something and we'll
location.
cone it off. And
Yeah.
if people, like we do cone off certain areas of time. They just go ahead and move the cones. and
Yeah,
park
right.
anyways.
Right.
But, you know, for us to do it, we'd have to put in like bollards or
Yeah.
posts and, I think that we need to find a better spot and
Well, let's look for a better spot.
so, in the meantime, I'll paint the
In a
lines.
couple of weeks, it won't be an issue.
And we'll have some-
Paint the lines, you okay with that, Lou? Oh, I'm
That's
sorry.
good. No, I'm good.
So do we need a motion for that?
No,
No.
Thank you.
I'll just paint the lines and then we'll look at the other area. We'll measure an area out, maybe mark it out, see where we could possibly put it in the tot lot. Because that probably
We'll
would,
put it in that big area on that.
or behind Sweetwater 7.
John's not there anymore, he doesn't care.
That's a great spot. I think that's a great spot. Let's look at-
They were gonna put a new pool there.
Right.
Just as a note, I don't think the noise from the basketball is gonna be that irritating, since you've already got the noise from the road. You know where the path, the new asphalt path along 12, where it meets the parking lot? Is there an area there where you can still keep the path open, but is there a way that you can figure it in over there somewhere?
You'd have to dig into the berm and there's.
Well, no, I mean, on, let's say on the other side, adjacent to Court 12,
You take a parking spot.
if you take one parking
You
spot,
take a spot.
because the other part is the access to the asphalt trail.
Right.
So you're not,
That's why we put it on the other
So
side.
we're gonna look into it.
Yeah.
Again,
Yeah.
you know, Mark will research.
Yeah, we'll look at it. I'll give you guys some, by next meeting, we'll have lines out there and we'll have some ideas on other places.
Yeah, it's not a lot, more, mostly one or two people.
They had these San Francisco centers here too.
Monitoring pickleball courts. Whose is that? Is that you, Lucy?
Again, this came up at one of my job sessions, actually came up from somebody who is on the tennis committee. That there are non-residents who have tennis memberships who are using the pickleball courts that shouldn't be using it. You know what?
The ones that weren't grandfathered.
Right, so. I'm bringing it up, I feel that it should be monitored, or they should have an access card or something, so when tennis, you should play tennis if you have them. Again, just for discussion,
And these are people that don't have the tennis.
they have a tennis, they're non-residents, they have a tennis membership, and they were not grandfathered in. Well, I know all this, and they're using the pickleball court.
Yeah.
Right,
well,
so, I've been here both times. So,
I don't know. I mean, so
Well,
that, you know, how many of those are,
If they're not monitoring it, no one knows.
yeah, so
well,
they're.
no, how many of those people could be?
There'll be more and more as we don't
Right.
allow them,
Right.
sorry, it's not included in their membership, so we need to think about how we allow access to the pickleball courts or different the pool. I don't need to cite here, but I just. Because it's.
I think this item, was brought up at the pickleball committee meeting yesterday. They're aware of the comment that was made. They're gonna monitor and look and see if they can find, or, you know, whomever made this comment could bring forward who it might be. But I think they're also going to be looking at the court usage now that there are 5 courts, and maybe see if there might be a recommendation to allow pickleball to be opened up to those non-resident tennis members also, so.
We're gonna get into the same situation we were in before, we have 5 courts and now we have enough courts, but now it tends to be more than.
we only have 3 courts.
Suzanne? Suzanne, a comment?
John?
Uh,
Go ahead,
comment?
John. Go ahead.
This probably shouldn't have been brought to the board's attention yet. It should have been directed to the pickleball committee to discuss, and like Suzanne just said, they did have a discussion yesterday regarding this. And before it gets to us, we would probably benefit from them mulling it over and then giving us suggestions.
John, Mulligan?
Yeah, I mean, let's say, they've done a fairly good job over the last year or two, self-police themselves, and, you know, they don't wanna see a lot of people there, so they've done, it. Or maybe they gotta step that up, as John is on saying, maybe they will get to the, you know, doing that again, I know several people who question people whether they should be doing that. And then to John, or to someone's comments about looking at it, giving them that,
Back.
amenity back, that's something that's gotta be looked at with the numbers and everything, so I mean, that's a ways off yet, but that should be, something definitely to be looked into, because if we have the capacity now, which we do, and that brings people in or gets us more money, it's a no brain for both.
As long as we have the capacity.
I said, you was not my first part of my,
Yeah.
if we have
I'm
the
just
capacity.
reiterating.
All right, Ed's comment?
How many guests can a homeowner bring in to play pickleball?
None during open play. So when there's open play in the morning from 8 to 12:30, I believe, guests are not permitted. If they can bring their immediate family, so they could bring their daughter or their son.
But after open
But after
play,
open play, the homeowner, you can bring up to 4, I believe the rule is. So-
Correct, 4.
But it's like tennis in the afternoon, the time.
Yeah.
On the-
But the court, well, they have to reserve them around league play and everything else. So.
All right, so can we add it to the next agenda also, just so we can keep an eye on that and get updates
Well,
for the pickleball?
yep, I noted we can submit it to the pickleball committee to
Pickleball
review.
committee, and then maybe we'll get a report next meeting.
Can I ask a question? The list of members, Team Breach, is it all the members, including
No.
the tennis members?
You have to sign up.
You have to sign up and there's somebody that monitors that and they will ask me if this person is eligible to be on.
So then typically it would be somebody that walk on and or have a reserve before.
Team Reach is not relevant to our website. Team Reach is completely separate. That's not how you reserve a court.
Okay, so that was, so.
Team Reach is just a blog
So
communication.
the reservation system that we use for pickleball, if you're a resident or a member, who can go to court in, the,
Anybody, a member of the club.
whether they're
Correct.
non-resident?
Mhm.
Okay. So is there a way, if, when those remove, that's where, to remove those non-members, to be able to go to court?
You're saying to remove those after June 2023. Yes, I believe they are, because their status is different.
Then the only time they would be able to get on court is if they just walk on and, yeah, which happens.
Yeah, or you invite them and only put in one other name and have a court of
The other
4.
question is, are all of the members in the system residents and non-residents?
All of the members that are in our website are members of the club. There's no adding anybody that's not eligible.
But the new non-resident tennis members are not allowed to make reservations.
If they're have access.
But their status is different in our system. There's a whole network of other little,
So, sorry, I'm not understanding. If I'm a
if you're a non-resident tennis member after June 2023, in my system, you're a tennis only member.
I can't go.
So you shouldn't be able to have access to that
I can't go into
reservation.
the club and go to the-
No, but I'll double check it.
That was where it.
If that person that maybe at your chat session could give me some names or some ideas, then I can help monitor it.
So if that's the case, and then they're just walking on, actually they're all the time, 7/24. If they're monitoring and not monitoring, but we're regulating that way, then that's, it's a viable solution. So I didn't have enough information, but, okay, thank you.
Okay, but we can, again, talk about it next meeting also. I'm gonna defer to Ed Castleman for 3 minutes to talk about the Wildcat Pond shoreline. And Ed, not a minute over.
Are you allowed to do that?
I just did.
Thank you. For those of you who may not know me, I'm Ed Castleman. I've been a permanent resident here since March. I rented here for 3 years before that and increasing increments over time, and then bought the current house I'm in March. I didn't want to come into the community and be a rabble rouser, so I kind of left this quiet for a year, despite the fact everybody who came to Mile and I and looked out, including my realtor, said, "Why does that look like that?" And I looked at the pond, and they said, "Oh, I'm sure work is done, and they'll get that finished, they'll get it done." And so I didn't say anything for a year because I kept thinking it's going to get done. It hasn't gotten done. So I said something to Steve, and I started talking to my neighbors, and my neighbors have also, over the course of the last 5 years, talked to the office about this issue, and different answers have been received about why it hasn't been done. I'm not sure that why it hasn't been done is important now. What's important is that it should get done, it needs to get done. This condition affects property values. It's contrary to the core value of taking pride in our aesthetics here, which we do for the architectural committee and all the exterior stuff. But the common elements obviously have to be equally protected, not just the ones that are visible from the street that you drive by, but also the ones that, residents look at every day and have to look at constantly as we're out in Illinois. For those of you who do not know the situation, these are photos that I took of what we look at every day when we are on our line. There's a petition here from 8 of the property owners who are directly affected by it, by having to look at that condition. This is not a vanity project on my part. This is something that really reflects on the community and should be done. It's my understanding we have estimates for it. I had requested that this be put on the agenda for this meeting. I'm not sure why it wasn't, but I kind of look at this as something that is overdue to be done, that it's not a new item. It was budgeted for before. It should have been taken care of. I think that Alan, the prior maintenance supervisor, left, COVID hit. He was the guy that was doing all the work. And then it just kind of gotten bypassed and it's been forgotten about because the new maintenance guy doesn't do that work. And so we need to have somebody come in who can do it, who can place the what's it called, riprap there and get it finished.
All right, thank you, Mark. I guess, what I'm hearing from the neighbors is that, Alan started the project and he either left or retired or ran out of rock and it just kind of left off. Is that is that true or not? That's what your guys are telling the neighbors.
That's 90% of it. The other was that when Alan was down there, I asked him, I said, why don't you want to start in a corner and move yourself back? He goes, because the erosion problem that we have when the wind starts whipping the waves around and starts eating into the lake bank like it does on those other shorelines, it isn't necessary there because it's limestone rock and cap rock down there. There isn't really any, I mean, like he said, it's rocks and dirt. There's not much dirt there. It's mostly.
So it's not a function, it's aesthetics?
It's a function of aesthetics to make it look similar to the rest of it. And Alan, if you knew Alan, he was one frugal guy, and he said it's not necessary, so I'm not going to start it there. I'm just going to go ahead and do what I got to do. Now, that being said, I don't have any issues with putting the rock down and making it look similar to the rest of the lakes, such as Heron Lake or Deer Creek, Lake 6. I got 3 estimates, which I'll give to the board at the next meeting. You guys can decide. It can be done here as long as it's done before June. Before the rains come up, then they'll lay that rock down. So it's the approximate cost. Well, I asked Expert if they did that because they're here on property. He said sure. He gave me a quote for $37,500, and that's for a outside, I think a third party contractor, and he's probably going to want to take his cut for it. I asked one of our local providers who does a lot of work in here, the tree service, and they gave me a quote for $27,500, so $10,000 less. And I think I can, and then I think that the lowest bid that I sent you. 24,500. 24,500. So for 24,500, I think that's the price that we can get that rock and it'll blend in and make the whole place look just as it is. It's 10 feet down by 100 feet around and 2 layers of rock deep. So it'll make it look just like it should.
All right, one question, Mark. When it was originally done, was it done on the maintenance budget? Was it a board
It was
proposal and a vote?
It was actually out of reserves.
And did the board voted on it and approved it? So it's already been approved. Why do we have to do it again if we're just completing it?
Because there's in the reserve study, because it wasn't there, because it was theoretically finished, that number on an annual basis that was being used is no longer in the reserve study. So this would be a capital acquisition.
So we have to vote on it.
Yes, you have to.
And we can't vote on it today because it wasn't on the agenda.
And that's
48 hours ago.
That's House Bill 175.
Okay.
Can I just ask, why wasn't it on the agenda for today?
Cause well, we don't place things on the agenda,
The
the
board.
board or the
makes
president has to place those on.
Right, but I had requested it like.
But members can't put stuff on the agenda, it has to come from board members.
So we are the messengers, and then where it goes after that, we just tell everybody that.
Yeah, my concern is if we don't get somebody going on it, that we might not get done depending on what their schedule.
Oh, no, there's no problem with that.
Done before rainy season, right, Mark? That
Oh,
would be
yeah.
the issue? That
No
would be
problem,
the.
no problem.
And we get maybe hundreds of things like this that people want on the agenda and the executive committee or what the, it's not what, I mean, you know, you just go somebody asks, wants on, not every single thing could be thrown on the agenda.
I understand.
Okay, you understand.
Okay, so next agenda, stuff on again, please, for
Yeah.
this item?
Yeah.
Any other, items? From any board member, anything? Okay, next board meeting, Board of Directors certification, 24th at 9:30, so I'm gonna come in.
The only people that I have certifications for that are not required to attend is Lucy, Mulligan, Sanders, and Swallen. So everybody else has to come unless you have a certificate. I don't have one in my file for you. And then we also have headshots that day, so if you want a new photo, those will begin around noon, which the certification should be done by then.
And I'm buying lunch for you guys if you.
Can I
want
just show up for
that
lunch?
day. Huh?
Can I just show up for lunch?
No,
No, you have to put up with a punishment before you get lunch.
I want to talk about the certificate. Hey, I think I have that for the condo.
then I need your certificate.
Well, for the convents, there are two different,
I know, but.
Not necessarily. There is new laws that were put in place that they have to speak about. But, I mean, from my standpoint, and hopefully Mark too, we would always encourage the board members to sit there, because you're gonna learn about the new laws that came over. And it's a good work
That's not
stop
my issue.
for all
My
of you.
issue is that we have our annual meeting for the condo board. And I'm the designated proxy.
What time's that at?
I think it's the same time. But I'm,
This starts at 9:30.
this does, yes. And then it goes how long?
Jason's usually done by the noon hour. That's why we scheduled the headshot then.
I'll check, but I'm pretty sure.
He's usually done by.
If not, then you'll have to get a certificate elsewhere,
I know.
in order to be eligible to be on the board.
Yes.
Okay, regular board meeting, April 24th at 1 o'clock. I also want to think about a time when we keep the board meetings consistent, like the third Tuesday of every month at 1 o'clock, so we can plan it and put it on our calendar for a whole year.
We generally do the fourth Thursday of every month. That way we try to have financials. And then
One now, one do.
Paul, like,
It says
well,
1.
All was the 1:30 now. 1 o'clock's fine if you can make it.
So
The thing about having it
four.
there is so that
Thursday?
your committee meetings can take place throughout the month. And then you can have those minutes or reports, and then they can be sent up if you have recommendations to the board that may need finance looking at or other,
Right.
stuff like this, then you get a little time to mull it over before it arrives right in front of you. That's why we do it later in the month, so you have
Should be way
some,
more informed.
we have some opportunities to look at stuff.
Okay, anything else from anybody? before
The
we-
other thing,
Go ahead.
probably Monday or Tuesday, when I can get my ducks in a row, I will email each of the new board liaisons to the committees, who submitted an application. And then at that April meeting is when you'll submit your requests for who you want on your committees.
and with that, we should try to, if possible, try to have somewhat of a turnover. We don't want to have the same 4, 6, 8 people if people sign up for it and you're qualified to do it. We want to try to encourage people to, if you have a 6-person committee, you don't have to replace 6 or 5 and 4, basically you want to replace 1 or 2 if possible, if you have the qualified people to do it.
Remember, as a liaison, you are not a voting member. You are there basically to report back to the board. You really aren't involved in many of the conversations. You're just there to report back to the board.
Yeah, I'll email it out when I email out
Please.
the name.
Okay. Motion to adjourn. John, seconded by Ken. All in favor?
It's a basketball game.
Very carried. Thank you. John
Thanks,
and
guys.
John.
Thank you.
Reed,
Any
John.
upsets, John?
Okay.
Oh,
No, well, we're good.